The rain wasn't falling. It was hammering. Liam stood outside the restaurant, soaked to the bone, water dripping from his chin onto a shirt he'd ironed twice that morning. His Honda had given up for good last Tuesday. He'd walked 6 blocks. He was 40 minutes late. His phone buzzed in his pocket. He didn't look. Probably Mia, annoyed again. She was always annoyed lately. Through the rain streaked glass, he could see the private dining room. White tablecloths. Candles. The kind of place where an appetizer cost more than his weekly grocery budget. Mia was sitting there. Dark hair over one shoulder. The red dress. The one she'd tried on for him this morning. "Don't wait up," she'd said. "Client dinner." She was laughing. Her hand was on the chest of the man next to her. The man turned his head. Liam recognized the jawline. The smile. The stupid expensive watch catching the candlelight like a signal flare. Marcus. His boss. Regional director. The guy who'd given him needs improvement on his last review. The guy who made him stay late redoing spreadsheets while everyone else went home. Marcus leaned in and kissed her. Mia kissed him back. Liam stopped breathing as a waiter appeared in front of him. Kid, maybe 22, with that practiced smile that doesn't reach his eyes. "Sir, this is a private event." Liam didn't move. He was watching Mia's fingers play with Marcus's tie. Like she'd done it 100 times, because she had. "Sir. My girlfriend is in there." The waiter's eyes flicked to the private section. To Mia. To Marcus's hand on her thigh under the table. "I'm sorry, sir. I really can't, Mia." Her head turned. She saw him for 1 second, 1 heartbeat, something crossed her face. Surprise. Maybe guilt. Then it was gone. She didn't pull away. Didn't move Marcus's hand. She just tilted her head slightly, like she was watching a stranger she didn't quite recognize, and turned back to Marcus. She whispered something in his ear. Marcus looked up and grinned. The maître d' stepped out from behind the waiter. Older guy. Grey temples. Black apron. He looked at Liam's wet clothes, his dripping hair, his worn-out shoes. Then he stepped aside. Let him in. The walk from the door to the private section felt like a mile. Every table went quiet. Every pair of eyes followed him, the man who'd crawled out of the storm, trailing water across the marble floor. Liam stopped at the velvet rope. Mia looked up. Marcus's arm was around her shoulder now. Possessive. Like he was showing off a trophy. "Liam," Mia said. "You're soaking wet." Not, "This isn't what it looks like." Not, "I'm sorry." "You're soaking wet." "Yeah," Liam said. "It's raining." Marcus laughed. Short. Sharp. Man's stating the obvious. "That's why we keep you around, right?" The table laughed with him. For other people Liam didn't recognize. Executive types. The kind of people who wore suits that cost more than Liam made in a month. "I think you should go," Mia said. Liam looked at her. The red dress. The diamond earrings he'd never seen before. The way she'd done her hair up differently, like she was trying to be someone else. Someone who belonged in Marcus's world. "Who's he?" one of the executives asked, not bothering to lower his voice. Marcus leaned back, one arm still around Mia. "That's Mia's. What do you call it? Roommate? Charity case?" He snapped his fingers. "Boyfriend. Works in my department. Entry level. Great with spreadsheets." He said spreadsheets like it was a punchline. "Marcus," Mia said quietly. "What?" "We're tight." Marcus grinned at Liam. "Aren't we, Liam?" Liam didn't answer. He was still looking at Mia. Waiting for something. Anything. She wouldn't meet his eyes. "Bro," Marcus said, leaning forward. The grin didn't leave his face, but something harder crept into his voice. "You're making this weird. Everyone's trying to have a nice dinner, and you're standing there dripping on the floor like a lost dog." Someone at the table snorted. Liam's jaw tightened. "I came because my girlfriend told me she had a client dinner." "Client dinner," Marcus repeated, savoring the words. He looked at Mia. Is that what we're calling it? Mia's face flushed. Liam, please. Don't do this here. Do what? Make a scene. I'm not the one. Marcus pulled out his wallet. Peeled off several bills. Held them out. Here. Go get yourself a drink. Burger joint down the street. My treat. $50 bills. 3 of them. I don't want your money. Oh, I'm sorry. You want more? I get it. Times are tough. He pulled out 2 more bills. There. Now you can afford fries. The table laughed harder. Even one of the women, blonde, sharp suit, cruel eyes, covered her mouth and giggled. Liam looked at Mia. She was staring at the tablecloth. She's been carrying you for months, Marcus said, folding the money and tucking it into Liam's jacket pocket. Liam was too frozen to stop him. Paying for everything. Rent when you're short. Which is always. Marcus patted Liam's chest twice. Don't you think it's time to let her go? Find someone on your level. Liam's throat closed, because some of it was true. Mia, he said. His voice cracked. He hated that it cracked. Can we just talk? Outside? 5 minutes. She finally looked at him. For a moment, just a moment, he saw something underneath the embarrassment. Something that looked almost like sadness. Then she hardened. There's nothing to talk about, Liam. Nothing. We've been over for weeks. You just wouldn't accept it. Weeks. His heart hammered against his ribs. We had dinner together last night. You held my hand on the couch. Because you would have moped if I didn't. She sighed, like he was exhausting her. Like he was a child throwing a tantrum. I've been trying to let you down easy. You don't take hints. Hints. The late nights. The cancelled plans. The fact that I stopped. She trailed off, glancing at Marcus. Stopped what? Stopped sleeping with you, Marcus finished for her. He said it like he was proud of himself. 3 months now, buddy. She's been sleeping at my place. My penthouse. The one with the view you'll never afford. The table went quiet, not out of discomfort, out of anticipation. They wanted to see what the poor guy would do. Liam's hands were shaking. Not from anger, from something worse. Something that felt like the ground giving way beneath his feet. You knew, he said to Mia. It wasn't a question she didn't answer. All those nights you said you were working late. The weekends at your mom's place. You were with him. Liam, were you ever going to tell me? Or were you just going to keep letting me think I was the problem? Mia's mouth opened. Closed. She looked at Marcus. Marcus shrugged. He's not wrong. You could have just ghosted him. Dragging it out was kinda cruel, babe. Babe. Liam felt something tear inside his chest. Mia reached into her purse. Pulled something out. Held it between 2 fingers. The necklace. Silver chain. Small heart pendant. He'd saved 3 months for it. Worked extra shifts. Skipped lunches. She dropped it into her wine glass. The tea sank to the bottom, the chain curling around the stem like a dying thing. You know what my co-workers call you? Mia said quietly. Liam waited. The mechanic's son. The guy who's never going anywhere. The one I'm too good for but too nice to leave. She picked up her wine glass. Swirled it. Watched the necklace tumble through the red. I defended you at first. I said you were just going through a rough patch. That you had potential. She took a sip. But you know what? Potential doesn't pay for dinner. Potential doesn't buy a girl a life. Liam looked at the necklace. The silver heart he'd chosen because it reminded him of the way her face lit up when she smiled. He'd been so stupid. So what now? He said. His voice was low. Dangerously low. You two ride off into the sunset? He marries you? Buys you a house? Marcus laughed. I'm not marrying her. She's fun. There's a difference. Mia's face flickered. Just for a second. Then she smoothed it over. Liam saw it. He filed it away. You think I'm poor, he said. Marcus leaned back. I don't think, buddy. I know. You don't know anything. Oh yeah. Marcus stood up. He was taller than Liam by an inch. Broader in the shoulders. The kind of man who'd never been told no in a way that stuck. I know you drive a car held together with duct tape. I know you wear the same 3 shirts to work. I know you've been passed over for promotion 4 times because nobody thinks you're worth the investment. He leaned in close. I know you're nobody. Liam didn't step back. Here's what I know, Marcus said, quieter now. Mia's been sleeping in my bed for 3 months. She's sleeping there tonight. And tomorrow, when you come to work, you're going to sit at your little desk and crunch your little numbers, and you're going to pretend you didn't see anything. Because if you don't, he smiled, I'll fire you so fast your head will spin. He pulled out a black card. Gold lettering. Centurion. This is what a man looks like, Liam. Go get one of these. Then come talk to me. He tucked the card back into his wallet. Actually, don't. You'll never have one. Mia stood up. Walked around the table. Stopped in front of him. Close enough that he could smell her perfume. The same perfume she'd been wearing when he fell in love with her. Go home, Liam, she said softly. Please. Don't make this worse than it has to be. Worse for who? Just go. She reached up and touched his face. For one insane second, he thought she was going to kiss him. She patted his cheek twice like a dog. Take the money Marcus gave you. Get yourself something nice. A haircut, maybe. She smiled sadly. New beginnings, right? Liam stood there. Rain dripping from his hair. Heart in pieces on the floor. And something else. Something cold and furious. Waking up in the back of his chest, he looked at her. Really looked, then he looked at Marcus, then he laughed. Not a big laugh. Not a crazy laugh. Just a small, quiet exhale of a sound that didn't belong in this room. Marcus's smile faltered. What's funny? Liam pulled out his phone. Water beaded on the cracked screen. He swiped it open. Pressed 3 numbers. Held it to his ear. The phone rang once. This is Davis. Open the executive conference room, Liam said. His voice was steady now. Calm in a way it hadn't been for months. Years. Maybe. I'll be there in 20 minutes. A pause. Sir, is everything all right? Fine. He glanced at Marcus. At Mia. At the table full of people who just watched him get torn apart. Better than fine. Get the board on video call. I want to address everyone in one go. Marcus snorted. What are you doing? Calling your mom. Liam smiled at him. It wasn't a nice smile. Open the room, Davis. And pull Marcus Wellington's personnel file. I want it on my desk by the time I get there. He hung up. Marcus's face had gone pale. Not all the way, he was still trying to laugh it off. But there was something in his eyes now. Something that looked like the first flicker of doubt. You're bluffing, Marcus said. Liam tucked his phone back into his pocket. I don't bluff. He turned and walked out of the restaurant. The rain was still falling. It didn't feel cold anymore. Liam's apartment was small. 1 bedroom. Thin walls. A view of the brick building next door. He'd been here for 4 years, telling himself it was temporary. He stood in the bathroom, staring at himself in the mirror. Wet hair. Dark circles. A face that looked older than 32. He'd chosen this face. Hidden behind it so long that sometimes he forgot there was anything underneath. He opened the closet. Pushed aside the cheap suits, the worn-out jackets. Behind them was a safe. He keyed in the code. The door swung open. Inside, a passport. A second phone. A stack of documents bound in black leather. And a wallet, old, real leather. No logo. He opened it and pulled out a single black card. No numbers. Just a name, Liam Carter. Not the name anyone at work knew him by, the name he'd been born with. 8 years ago, his father had died. Old money. Old secrets. A fortune built on things Liam didn't like to think about. He'd inherited everything at 24. The stocks, the properties, the shell companies, the silent partnerships. 3 corporations. Real estate across 4 countries. A stake in a private equity fund that most people would kill for. He'd hated it. Hated the weight of it. The way people looked at him differently when they knew. The way friends became sycophants and women became predators. Oh, he'd hidden. Changed his name. Took an entry-level job at one of the companies he secretly owned. Told himself he wanted to understand the business from the ground up. Told himself he was testing the system, looking for problems, preparing to fix them. Maybe that was even true, but the real reason was simpler. He wanted to know if anyone would love him when he had nothing. Mia had seemed like the answer. She'd met him when he was driving a broken car and wearing thrift store shirts. She'd gone out with him anyway. Stayed with him anyway, or so he'd thought. Tonight, he'd learned the truth. She hadn't loved him. She'd just been settling. Waiting for something better. Using him until Marcus Wellington came along with his penthouse and his black card. Liam tucked the black card into his pocket. The second phone too, then he walked out the door without looking back. The car was waiting when he got downstairs. Black sedan. Tinted windows. Engine running. A man in a dark suit got out and opened the back door. Mr. Carter. Thanks, Robert. The drive to the office took 11 minutes. Liam spent them staring out the window at the rain-slicked streets. The building was in the financial district. 42 floors of glass and steel. His building. His name on a deed no one in the company had ever seen. Robert pulled into the underground garage. The private entrance. The elevator that required a key card, a thumbprint, and a code that changed every day. Liam rode it to the top floor. The doors opened onto a corridor he hadn't walked in 2 years. Marble floors. Art on the walls, real art, the kind that cost more than most people's houses. At the end of the corridor, double doors. Davis was waiting. Davis was 63, silver-haired, dressed in a suit that probably cost more than Liam's first car. He'd been his father's assistant for 20 years before becoming Liam's. He was the only person in the world who knew everything. Good evening, sir. Davis. The board is assembled on video. I've taken the liberty of pulling the files you requested. He held out a leather folder. Mr. Wellington's performance reviews, compensation history, and a record of 3 HR complaints filed against him in the last 18 months. All were dismissed. I've also prepared termination papers. Liam took the folder. Didn't open it. And Mia Callahan. Davis didn't blink. HR records indicate she was hired 14 months ago as a marketing coordinator. She reports to Mr. Wellington directly. Of course she does. There's one more thing, sir. What's that? Legal has been building a case against Mr. Wellington for 18 months. Expense fraud. Steering contracts to shell companies. We were waiting for your approval to move forward. Liam walked past him into the conference room. Move forward, he said. I want him indicted by the end of the week. The table was mahogany. 20 chairs around it. On the wall, a screen showed 12 faces, the board members, scattered across time zones, waiting for him. They went quiet when he walked in. Some of them hadn't seen him in years. Some had never met him in person at all. But they all knew who he was. Gentlemen, Liam said. Ladies. Thank you for your patience. He sat down at the head of the table. Marcus Wellington arrived at the office at 8:15 the next morning. He'd slept badly. Kept thinking about the phone call. The way Liam had said open the executive conference room like he had every right to say it. But that was ridiculous. Liam was nobody. A grunt. A spreadsheet jockey. Marcus pushed the thought away and walked into the lobby. Something was different. People were standing around, talking in low voices, glancing at their phones. The receptionist looked at him strangely. His assistant, Cheryl, met him at the elevator. Mr. Wellington, The board meeting has been moved. What? To the top floor. The executive conference room. Marcus frowned. That room's been closed for years. Someone's using it today. Cheryl swallowed. And they sent a list of attendees. Your name isn't on it. Marcus stared at her, then he laughed. Of course my name is on it. I'm the regional director. Get whoever's running this show on the phone. Mr. Wellington, I don't think you understand. The elevator dinged. The doors opened. Mia stepped out. Blue dress. Hair pulled back. She looked nervous in a way Marcus had never seen before. Marcus, what's going on? My badge wouldn't let me into the marketing floor. They redirected me up here. Nothing. Administrative mix-up. I'll handle it. I tried to call Liam this morning. He's not answering. So, I don't know. I feel weird about last night. Babe, we talked about this. He was never going to be okay with it. But he'll get over it. Guys like him always do. Guys like him. Losers. Marcus straightened his tie. They're used to losing. Come on. Let's go find out who thinks they can move my meeting. They took the elevator to the top floor. The doors opened. Marble floors. Real art. The kind of quiet that came from money so old it didn't need to announce itself. To the end of the corridor. Double doors stood open. Inside, Marcus saw faces he'd only seen in corporate newsletters. The CFO. The CEO. 3 senior vice presidents. And on the screen, the board. Every single one of them was looking at the head of the table, the man sitting in the chair that Marcus had always assumed belonged to someone who didn't exist. Dark suit. Well tailored. Hair dry now. Combed back, he looked like he belonged there. Good morning, Marcus. Liam's voice. Quiet. Steady. Marcus's legs stopped working. What are you doing here? I work here. You know that. No. I mean, Marcus's eyes darted to the board members. What is this? Quarterly board meeting. Unfortunately for you, I've decided to skip straight to personnel review. Liam picked up a leather folder. Opened it. Marcus Wellington. Hired 6 years ago. Regional director for 3. Under you, productivity dropped 17%. Turnover increased 42%. 3 harassment complaints. All dismissed. And 18 months of fraudulent expense reports. HR cleared me on the complaints. And the expenses were approved by you, Liam said. We traced them. $230,000 to companies that don't exist. Shell accounts in the Caimans. He looked up. I have the receipts. The room went silent. Marcus's face went red, then white. His mouth opened and closed. You don't have the authority to. I own the company, Marcus. The words landed like a punch. Marcus stared at him. The CFO nodded once. The COO looked at his hands. Nobody disagreed. I'm sorry, Marcus said. His voice cracked. I didn't know. No, Liam said. You didn't. I'll fix it. I'll pay back every cent. Just, you'll do nothing. Liam closed the folder. Your employment is terminated, effective immediately. Security is on its way. And my lawyers have already filed a complaint with the district attorney's office. You're looking at fraud charges. Possibly jail time. Marcus's face went grey. You're not serious. Liam smiled. That same smile from last night. The one that wasn't nice. I don't bluff, Marcus. Remember. 2 security guards appeared in the doorway. Marcus looked around the room one last time. At the cold, disinterested faces. At the board members who'd already erased him from their minds. Then his eyes landed on Mia, still standing in the doorway. Still frozen. Still holding his hand like it might save her. It wouldn't. Babe, Marcus said. Say something. Mia looked at him. Then she looked at Liam, and her face, her beautiful, carefully composed face, finally broke. "Liam," she whispered. "Please." Liam stood up. He walked around the table, slow and deliberate, until he was standing in front of her. She was crying now. Tears running down her cheeks, smearing her mascara. She looked smaller than she had last night. Less certain. Less cruel. "Why didn't you tell me?" she asked. "Why didn't you ever tell me you were this?" Liam looked at her for a long moment. The woman he'd loved. The woman he'd planned a future with. The woman who'd dropped his necklace into a glass of wine and told him he'd never be enough. "I wanted to know," he said quietly, "if you'd love me when I had nothing." Mia sobbed. "I would have. I swear I would have." "Would you?" She opened her mouth. Closed it. Because they both knew the answer. "You called me a mechanic's son. You sat there while Marcus handed me money like I was a beggar." He paused. "You dropped my heart into a wine glass and watched it sink. I was scared. I was confused. You were cruel." The word hung between them. Mia flinched like he'd slapped her. Liam stepped back. "You want to know the worst part? It's not that you cheated. It's not that you lied." His voice cracked. "Just a little. It's that you looked at me, at everything I was, everything I gave you, and decided I wasn't enough. Not because I was poor, but because you thought I'd never become enough. And you didn't want to wait. That's not, it is. And I lived that lie for 3 years because I wanted to believe you were different." He turned to Davis. "Have security escort them both out. Ms. Callahan's employment is terminated as well. She was hired through Marcus Wellington. That contract is void." "No," Mia said. "No, please. Liam. Liam, I love you. I've always loved you." Liam stopped. He didn't turn around. "You don't love me," he said. "You loved what you thought I could become. And when you decided I wasn't becoming it fast enough, you found someone else." He walked toward the elevator. Mia tried to follow. Security blocked her. "Liam." He pressed the button. "Liam, please." The doors opened. He stepped inside. The doors started to close. Mia's voice cut through, raw and broken. "Liam, did you ever love me? Just tell me that much. Did you ever actually love me?" The doors were almost closed now. 4 inches. 2. Liam's hand hovered over the button. 1 inch. He spoke. "Of course I loved you." His voice was quiet. Steady. The kind of steady that comes after crying so hard there's nothing left. "That's why you were able to hurt me." The doors closed. The elevator began to descend. Liam stood alone in the silence, watching his reflection in the polished brass. A stranger. Not the broke mechanic's son. Not the secret billionaire. Just a man who'd loved someone and lost her. The doors opened to the parking garage. Robert was waiting by the black sedan. "Home, sir." Liam thought about it. The empty apartment with its thin walls. The penthouse he owned but never visited. "No," he said. "Drive." "Where to?" Liam got into the back seat. "Anywhere but here." The car pulled out into the rain. The city blurred past. Neon signs. Wet pavement. People hurrying home to lives they'd chosen or settled for. Liam watched them and thought about beginnings. About endings. About the necklace at the bottom of a wine glass. 3 days later, Marcus Wellington was arrested at his penthouse. The news hit the financial wires by noon. Former regional director charged with fraud, embezzlement, and racketeering. The company released a statement. "Mr. Carter has been fully cooperative with authorities." The comment section was confused. Who was Mr. Carter? No one answered. Marcus posted bail. He wouldn't leave the city. The case was strong. 18 months of evidence, every transaction traced, every shell company exposed. His lawyer advised him to plead guilty. He fired the lawyer. Then he hired another one. A T wouldn't matter. Liam made sure of that. Mia sent him a message a week later. "Oh, greeting. I keep thinking about what you said. That you loved me. That's why I could hurt you. I think about it every day. The necklace is still in the wine glass. I kept it. I don't know why. Liam read it twice. Then he put his phone face down on the desk and went back to work. Some answers aren't for the person asking. Some answers are just for you. 2 weeks later, Liam was in a coffee shop, different city, a work trip, and the woman behind the counter handed him the wrong order and laughed about it. A real laugh. He looked at her. Sorry, she said. Long morning. It's fine, he said. That he took the wrong order. Sat down by the window. Drank it. Tea was fine. Outside, the city moved the way cities do, forward, always forward, indifferent to what any single person inside it had lost or found, or finally, after a very long time, decided to stop carrying. He sat there for a while. Then he left a good tip, and walked out into the morning. The pendant is still in her wine glass. She kept it. She said she didn't know why, but he did. Some things you keep because throwing them away would mean admitting you knew, the whole time, exactly what you were doing.